Welcome back to another episode of the Breakthrough Lab podcast. We're in 2024 now, officially, both us recording it and you listening to it. And we are coming at you with a topic that we just randomly were chatting about before this and decided to record it. Before we get into that, we hope that you had a great New Year and a great holiday time, Christmas time, whatever you celebrate. And we encourage you to step into this new year by letting something go from 2023 that is no longer serving you.
And recognizing the shifts that can bring to you and the gifts that will bring to you in this new year.
Yes. One of the things that I like to do every New Year's Eve is when getting together with friends or family. This is actually an old family tradition that my uncle used to do on New Year's Eve with all of us. And I continued into adulthood. It is on New Year's Eve, we grab little strips of paper and a pen, each of us. Now it's my friends and I. And we write down something that has been holding us back or keeping us stuck or something we've been struggling with in general. And that's the thing we're choosing to let go of. And we keep it secret. We write it down. We gather it all, fold it up, gather them all into a little tin, like a metal tin, and then we set them on fire. We burn those things to the ground to make it real, to solidify it that we are really cutting our ties with that thing. And it could be a thing, like an object, a possession. It could be a person, could be a relationship, could be an environment, could be a limiting belief about you, about other people, or about the world. It could be
a habit.
Like a habit, yes. A habit that's no longer serving you. Any of these things, if they are no longer serving you, could be a pattern, which is a little bit different than a habit.
And the cool thing about what you're doing here, Joshua, is that fire there are three major energies that, in physics kind of rule everything. And that is creation energy, transformation energy, and completion energy. And fire from an energetic standpoint is related to completion energy. So even from an energetic level, by taking these things and then setting them on fire, you are bringing them into a completion. You are finishing out one chapter and coming to a new. And it's from an energetic level, from the physics level, and even from how your unconscious mind interprets it. All of those are going to be in alignment to helping you to actually overcome and let that thing go.
Whoa, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to think about one thing. This is going to be the biggest thing that's been holding you back the most, keeping you stuck, keeping you the way that you are, or just no longer serving you in general, and choose to let it go. Say to yourself, this is not coming with me into this year. I'm leaving that behind. It's not. And it's okay anymore.
If you're listening to this and it's already 2024, this works even if it's not a new year, right? You can do it from one day to the next. This isn't coming with me tomorrow.
Yeah. And every day forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And it really ties into what Joshua and I were riffing about that, kind of lit us up inside. And we were like, you know what, we should just start recording right now. And that is this topic of releasing certain things. And sometimes when you have a shift, all of the sudden things that were not visible to you, that you couldn't hear or you couldn't see or you couldn't understand before, all of the sudden you can see and understand and hear those things. Whether that is maybe reading a book or listening to a quote. I remember I think I've talked about this before, but it bears repeating that my husband used to say that he would look at that Henry Ford quote of, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. And he was like, I didn't get that quote for the longest time. I'm like, what does that mean? And, after doing some of this work, he was like, I finally get what that means. It's because my beliefs are so powerful that I'm going to make it whatever it is I think, whether I can or whether I can't. And so that's just an example of things in our external reality, but there are sometimes things internally. So I recently had a really huge shift take place. And this is what I came to Joshua and I was like, oh my gosh, some really amazing things have happened. But I had just an enormous shift. And it had to do with something from my past and a block that I was encountering. And we started kind of diving deep into this because I told him, I was like, I think that I've been keeping myself from making progress in a certain area of my life because deep down at an energetic or an intuitive level, I knew that there was something coming along my way that I needed to not make progress, or I needed to be in a certain place in order to be able to accept this thing in my life.
Yeah, to receive it.
And I told him, I was like, look, this is going to sound crazy, but I have been suspecting that maybe X, Y, and Z. And
yeah, you were almost afraid to tell me that.
I was like, he's going
like I was going to judge you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but for the record, Joshua does not judge anyone, not probably even a fly. Although I don't really know how you feel about bugs, but
I like bugs.
Yeah, me too. But still, it's just one of those things that like, maybe he's going to think this is a cop out or something, but like I have had these moments where I'm like, I'm experiencing some struggle in this area. Could this be a karmic thing? Could this be something that isn't necessarily tied to baggage? Because every time I would try to figure out what is the limiting belief around it, or, like I would do these explorations and I would think I would find the cause and work on it. And I'm like, but still I wasn't gaining any traction. So Joshua, I'll let you take it from here.
What's interesting is that you were afraid that I was going to think that you were giving me a cop out. And ordinarily, I think if you had said any other thing, I probably would have thought so. Because, and I'm sorry to put this on air, but you have given cop outs in this area of your life many times before. And I've had to call you out on it.
As a good friend and coach should.
Yes. Especially a good friend. And in this case, I couldn't see it as a cop out. And there are multiple reasons for that, but one of which is because I have experienced the exact same thing in a different area of my life. This idea that you are almost like spiritually or energetically closing yourself off to making progress in a certain area or from getting anywhere other than where you are because something better is meant for you. It's like that quote, God's delays are not God's denials. Just because, you don't get the thing that you're praying for or trying to manifest immediately doesn't mean that it's not coming or something better isn't coming.
Or something better. Exactly. Yeah. And just for the record, this area that I'd been struggling with is an area that Joshua has a particular expertise in. And so he's definitely the first person that I would come to with these things. And he's been helping me and reframing me. And again, to no avail, right? To no avail.
Yeah.
And
well, it's not like I wouldn't say to no avail, but to no significant progress being made.
There were definitely some shifts that were taking place internally that
yes.
I could understand from a cognitive point of view. And yet there was like this resistance inside.
Yes.
And, again, sharing
I just want to give you some credit.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, yeah. I'm sharing this and being vulnerable with everyone because, I think it's really important for the listeners to understand that these things happen and that we're all navigating them. We are all navigating it. And the main thing, we did an episode recently about intuition and tapping into that and really allowing yourself to A, have patience with yourself, and B, follow and trust your intuition, because I had these feelings that maybe this is what was happening. And yes, I would continue to look at this specific area and say, what can I do? What belief can I look into? What pattern? I'm still trying to make progress in the area. And if you're not making progress, instead of getting frustrated, then you can trust. And part of trusting is letting go of it having to happen a certain way. And that is easier said than done.
Yes.
And yet it's something that I've held on to. And, I think Joshua can say that he's seen me Like literally, he's watched me go through this entire past year, not making the progress that I want to, still being there for me, being patient with me, and also seeing that, hey, I'm also giving myself grace. I haven't been beating myself up along the way. I've been very curious as to why. And yet now that the pieces are falling where they are, it's becoming very clear. This is probably related to something. And not just that, folks. The coolest part of this for me was that out of nowhere, out of seemingly nowhere, because it wasn't truly nowhere, I finally received what was blocking me in this area. And I cannot overstate what a relief it was. And also how blown my mind was by this. In fact, when I told Joshua, like, I finally know what's been holding me back. It's this. He was like, I never would have guessed that.
I never could have guessed that. Yeah.
Well, and at first I was like, are you being sarcastic? And he was like, no, I really wouldn't. Okay, me neither. But it was so clear to me when I received that message, when I just out of nowhere was like, oh my gosh, this is what has been keeping me back. And here's how it's all linked together. And yet I couldn't see it.
So if you're listening to this and you've got something in your life where you have been trying to make progress in an area, maybe that's your relationship, maybe that's in your financial game, your business, your wealth, or in your physical fitness, you can't figure out why, but it just feels like you're just being blocked at every opportunity, everything that you try doesn't pan out. There's probably a reason, and it's probably a good reason, because I have felt like that. Last year, I ended a very long-term relationship, and in the many months that came, I was trying to put myself out there and meet new people, and it's not like I wasn't meeting new people and going out and, doing stuff, but nothing would ever happen. And what ended up happening a lot of the time was that, well, I should start by saying this. When things were getting, like if I were to go on a date or I would meet a girl at a bar or something, I would self-sabotage it in some way. I would do something like I would drink too much, or I would just exit a conversation entirely that's going well. Conversations that would go really, really well, or like where the girl was very clearly into me, I would just exit. I would just go home. And I was like, I would think to myself as I was driving home, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I want to find someone who is my ideal partner and get married and have kids and stuff. And I was just totally not letting myself do that. And I thought to myself, maybe it's because I'm meeting someone at a bar or something and I don't know this person very well and it's not meant to be or whatever. For whatever reason, I just couldn't figure it out. And during this time, I was also finding that I was not even super into these girls, like not being wowed by them. Like, I guess I knew that they were not the one. Meanwhile, I was also very much attracting and finding myself attracted to women who were married or involved in some way, like in a relationship already. And I noticed this. It was a pattern that was happening. And I even told you about it before too. In our conversation before this podcast, I ended up pulling up a monthly checkpoint that I do. I do a little journaling process every month, at the end of every month, to reflect on the month and what I've learned and what I'm grateful for and all that stuff, and just to plan. And I pulled up one that I remembered immediately when she told me this story about how something had been blocking her and she finally figured out what it was. I was like, hey, this is why I don't think you're crazy, because I've had the same thing happen where I wrote and I read to her that I seem to keep attracting married women. What's going on? Maybe I have some kind of an energetic block here. Oh, well, and then the rest of my journal. But it is very much a thing that happens. And what ended up happening was I didn't get together with anybody new until I met my current girlfriend, who is incredible. And
checks all the boxes.
Checks all my boxes. I made a list of exactly what I was looking for, and she's that whole list and more. And she also wasn't meeting anyone new at that time. Our timing was so synchronous. And I think to myself, looking back, that's the reason why I was having such self-sabotaging actions and connecting with the wrong women who were pre-engaged, pre-involved. Even though I couldn't see it at the time, that's the reason. Because if I had gotten together with one of them, then how would I might not even be here where I am right now with my current person.
And this tends to happen a lot when it's a pretty big area of life, pretty big desire that you have.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's something that Joshua mentioned, right? When you're wanting something, you put a goal out there, you ask for the goal or something better.
Yeah.
And when you add that to your goal or something better, you're really saying that you are opening up to the infinite amount of possibilities that may be something that you hadn't considered or you hadn't considered possible is what's actually going to be happening for you, right? So it's a way of letting go of form, saying, hey, you know what? It doesn't have to happen the way that I thought it would. Maybe it's going to happen in a way that is even more amazing than I imagined possible. And this brings me to the other point that I wanted to make, which is this pattern. Even though Joshua suspected it in his life, and even though I suspected it in my life, we
different patterns, by the way.
Human, yeah, different timing. I mean,
different blocks. We're not. Yeah. We didn't have the same issue.
No, we didn't. We still didn't know. Right? Like we're humans. We're just like, well, I mean, is that it? Or is there something else going on? Is there something else? Is this just me self-sabotaging in some way? And I just need to, continue. The thing is that sometimes the lessons that we have to learn are going to come in exactly when we need them. Mm-hmm. And this is important because when I finally realized, oh my gosh, this is the thing. At first, I was just amazed that like, how did I not realize this before? Like really racking my brain because my mind was blown that this now seemingly obvious thing was what had been holding me back. And yet I wasn't meant to. Yeah. I wasn't meant to know this because if I had known it before, it may have removed the block, which may have interfered again with what it was that I had asked for. See, sometimes when we set a goal, and we say we want something, our unconscious mind is going to help us get there, especially if we're so focused on it, single-minded, and so congruent with it, that our unconscious mind actually does a way better job of helping us figure out a way to get there. And it will actually repress different events, different situations, different memories until you are ready to let them go.
And that's what happened to you.
And that's what happened to me. And this is key. Every single one of us out there is walking around with memories that we can't remember from our childhood. And most of those things we probably don't need to remember. And some of those are maybe layers that need to be peeled back in a specific way in a specific time. And that's when we go back into trusting. And trusting really does tie back to the very first thing that Joshua encouraged us to do at the beginning of this episode, which is to let go. Not just letting go of the baggage, but letting go of our expectations, leaving room for a miracle to come in. And that is another key thing that happened here, that I've had a goal that I was really, really passionate about. And I finally, one day, had a good old conversation with my internal dialogue and said, you know what, if I don't reach this goal, it's fine. I'm so okay with that. Like, I really want this and I am okay with that if it doesn't happen, because I've been working so hard towards this thing. And sometimes we get in that pattern, right? Where we're working and working and working towards something because we love it. We're so excited about it. We are happy in doing what we're doing. Everything about it lights us up. And yet, do we remember to take time and reassess, hey, where are we on the path? And at a certain point, did I remind myself that it's okay if I don't get there? Did I leave myself a checkpoint to say, hey, it's okay if it doesn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen or in the time frame? This is so important because when we do this, it really does open up more possibilities for us. Because you can look at it as a way of saying, hey, universe, I trust you. Hey, higher self, I trust you. Hey, God, whatever it is, whatever word works for you, I trust you, and I trust that you're going to make this happen the way it has to happen. And when you allow that to happen, you get to meet your soulmate when you least expect it. You get your dream job offer in the most opportune of times. You get, what's another really miraculous thing, Joshua?
3 new clients in your business all of a sudden.
There we go. Yeah. These are all things that have happened to Joshua and I, by the way. Not in any set time period, right? But these are just things that we have manifested in our lives in different points of our lives by using these same techniques.
And this is vital to understand, especially this time of the year, because we're in this phase where people are thinking about their resolutions and their goals and their how, they want the year to look a certain way. They want the goal to be achieved a certain way. They've got this whole picture for how it's supposed to happen. But the more you try and force things, the less likely they are to pan out exactly how you want them. The more you let go and just kind of go with the flow and trust, the more likely things are bound to come along the right way, or even better.
But trusting isn't about not doing anything. Let's be very clear on this. Trusting, because you heard me saying, hey, I kept taking action. I was working so hard towards X, Y, and Z. Joshua was going out there. He was putting himself out there. Just as a reminder, there's action that needs to take place, and there's focus, maintaining a positive focus on, I'm going for this prize. Instead of focusing on any obstacles on the way, I'm looking at things with curiosity, seeing what I can learn from them, seeing where I can continue to grow, seeing how I can continue to, focus on the things that I want instead of getting really put down or distracted by the things that may happen on the way.
Yeah.
It's more about not focusing on how it has to happen.
And when we say, we encourage letting go, we're not talking about letting go of your goal. If you want to get to the 10K a month mark in your business, you're not quite there yet. We're not saying you should let go of that, but we are saying be open to something even better if that is what comes along. Be open to having that 10K not look exactly the way you want it to look. Like maybe you think, okay, I want to get 10K from my marketing agency. Well, okay, but also you could get 10K plenty of other way. Like what if you get like you stumble upon some new industry and you are into this new thing now. It's not marketing. Now you're doing SEO or you're doing coaching or something. Be open to all the ways you could make that 10K happen.
Yeah. Many of you have heard of the SMART goal framework. And one of my favorite things about, something I recently learned with the SMART goals is that the S stands for simple, and it also stands for specific. Simple on the how, specific on the what. So be specific on what you want, where your destination is. You must be specific about that because you need to know where you want to go. Yeah. But how you get there, there's hundreds of ways to get from point A to point B, isn't there? So be specific on where you want to go or what you want. And be a little more simplified on how you're going to get there and leave yourself room for something amazing to happen that might blow your wildest expectations. You have to be specific on what you want, though.
Yeah.
Like, what are the main components of the thing that have to be met? Like, so Joshua said he made a list of the things that he wanted in an ideal partner. And lo and behold, he got the list. Mm-hmm. I did the same thing. I didn't write out my list, but I had a list.
Yeah.
And I got the same thing.
Yeah. And the original reason why we were recording this episode is to communicate not just that about setting your goals and being open to things being differently than how you thought they would be, but also when things don't go as they plan. When you find yourself self-sabotaging and you don't know why, when you find that you are not making progress in this area of your life that you want to make progress in and you don't know why, something's holding you back, things keep happening, yada, 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 trust that there's a reason, even if you can't see it right now. And that reason could just be as simple as, it doesn't have to be some kind of crazy, like God's got a bigger thing for you. It could be as simple as your subconscious is preventing you from making progress in this area because it knows that there is something better just about to happen for you. And to be clear, for me, that was like, I don't know, 9 months. So when I say just around the corner, I don't mean tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, but don't get attached to a timeline with this. Trust that there is something good happening, and there's a reason why things aren't working out. There's a reason why you're self-sabotaging. There's a reason why you're not making progress.
And sometimes that reason is tied to you learning something. In the case of, for example, me meeting the love of my life, I was in a relationship and I had to let go of not just that relationship, but also let go of wanting one in the first place. Because of course, everyone knows as soon as you stop trying something, it shows up in your life, right? This is an example. Everyone has experienced this in some way, shape, or form. That's what we're talking about here. And sometimes there's something you need to let go of first. Just trust that there is a reason. That doesn't mean don't look, right? Because I did mention, hey, I'm still always going to have an open heart to see what is it that I can do. And, truth be told, one of the things that I think was one of my major learnings was to really, really trust my intuition more. My theme of the year for the past 2 years has been to surrender and let go. And to surrender and let go, you have to trust. And so building these trust muscles, if you will, over the past 2 years, I had a really, really amazing experience happen. I haven't even told Joshua about this.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's go.
I'll tell you about it now. I don't know if it'll make it to the episode, but
okay.
So I had this experience on New Year's Eve where I got to hang out with my BFF, which I haven't spent New Year's Eve, outside of just with my family, my extended family in the past, I don't know, nearly a decade. This is the first time that I've actually gone in a while to spend time with friends. And so guess who made an appearance but good old beer pong? Who doesn't love some good old beer pong? Except instead of beer, we just filled the cups up with water.
That's right. Good.
Because we're old. And so her and I are playing on a team, and I get the first shot in, and then it is very well known that I'm not really that great at beer pong or anything that involves aiming. So she pretty much led the team I did have a really cool shot where I bounced one of them into the cup. Right. But for the most part, she did all the work. We finally get down to having them at one cup. And I kid you not, we probably had them at one cup for 20 minutes. Could not get it in to the point where they got us down to one cup. And, we were at the lead and then we weren't. And we just kept going back and forth. Every single person in the room tried to make it. No one could make the cup. Like, this was just insane. And finally, after about, again, 20 minutes of this, I'd had this feeling this entire time. Every time I shot, my friend was on a certain side of me, and I could just feel this resistance in me that I just needed her to move. But I wouldn't say anything. So I was like, it's fine. I can make the shot without her there. Finally, after the 50th time, I'm like, hey, can you just move to the other side, please? She knows me well enough. She listened to the podcast, and she was just like, okay. She moves over. I make the winning shot. We win the game.
Nice.
It was incredible. First of all, because we won. Like, everyone went crazy, including us.
Yeah.
But mostly for me, what sweetened that moment was just really noticing, wow, I felt this entire time. And I recognized it was there, but I hadn't listened to it. And when I finally did, I won. And of all people to make the shot, it was for it to be me. That was pretty significant. Again, every person in there who tried multiple times, nobody made it in. That was a really cool message for me.
I want to tack this onto that intuition episode we did.
I know, right? Maybe we should. And that is, I think, part of the lesson I had to learn, to really integrate, to really recognize, hey, this is what it feels like for me.
You also mentioned that your theme of the year for the past few years was surrender and letting go, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your theme for this year?
Gratitude.
Nice.
Which I came upon that theme from my journaling practice. It came up organically as, just something intuitively that I knew, hey, this is the next thing, incorporating it into my family and with my little one.
Like having him do gratitude
Teaching
practices?
him from an early age what gratitude means, what appreciation is, I think is one of the biggest gifts that you can give to a child.
Yes.
Awesome. Because it's the gift that keeps on giving into adulthood. Magic happens when you learn to be grateful.
Yeah. I definitely I think a lot of the stuff that my parents did for me when I was a kid shaped who I am. And I think one of those things is saying grace before dinner. So once again, to wrap it up for this episode, we encourage you to think of one thing this year that you're ready to let go of. Something that's been holding you back. Person, place, thing, thought, habit, belief, emotion.
Or attachment.
Yeah. Write it out and burn it. You could do it on your own. You could do it with friends. Doesn't matter. Just let it go. It's not coming with you into this year. Second thing, think about your theme for the year. What's it going to be? What's this year going to be about for you? Is it worthiness? Is it gratitude?
And what's your plan for making it come to life?
Yeah.
And what's your and?
My and is don't be too attached to that plan. Just the way that, as we were talking about with self-sabotage and energetic blocking, preventing us from making progress, just trust in it. Trust the process. Trust that you are going to get what you're looking for or something even better that you couldn't have pictured before.
As long as you remain focused and taking action.
Yes.
My end.
Yeah. What's your end?
My end is to have grace and patience with yourself along the path. When you do encounter things that you just feel dumbfounded by because you're taking steps, you're doing the work, and it feels like something's in the way, just keep doing the work. Keep having the faith. Keep letting go of the things that are holding you back, all of the things that Joshua mentioned, and just let go of everything except for your faith. That it's absolutely happening for you.
Okay, I love that. Thank you. And thank you for listening to us in this beautiful, glorious new year of 2024. And for all the years to come that you will also be listening to us. We're glad that you're here. We hope that you're having an amazing start to your year and hope this episode has been helpful for you. And we'll see you next time.